devil. He's a devil. He's a devil in his own hometown. On the level, he's as funny as a clown. He spends a 5-cent piece, thinks nothing of it. His pants all creased, red vest above it. And when it comes to women, oh, he's a devil. He's a devil. He's a devil in his own hometown.
If we don't get this right, it could be our last happy Halloween, Rick.
Right? I mean, I feel like that ad was a perfect opener for the show this evening because it is Halloween. I hope you guys are enjoying it. We've gotten some trick-or-treaters here. We have a whole tableau vivant up at the street of various Halloween things going on this year. But yeah, it is Halloween night, and Trump is really the scariest thing still out there.
Absolutely. I am absolutely terrified. Everyone's like, what are you doing for Halloween? And I'm like, getting out the vote is what I'm doing.
Right? As all right-thinking people should be getting out the vote right now. It is really the most vital function of anybody listening to the show right now. Once you're done with the show, get back on your calls, your texts, your phone tree of your friends that you've thought to yourself, I better make sure that he or she is voting. Mm-hmm. Get it out there.
Yes.
Make sure you're pushing.
And one of the lines I love is that the voting record, like not who you vote for is public, but whether you vote is public. So
and if I find out you didn't vote, I'm coming to your house.
That's the trick part of trick or treat, I think. Now I want candy, and I'm kind of actually upset about candy. And you have wine? You didn't tell me you were going to bring wine to the show.
I brought wine to the show. You know what? I'm just here for it.
I'm out of here. I'm upset. I have like an empty glass of water. Like this is like kombucha or something.
Actually, I double fisted.
Oh my God. You're going wild.
I'm going wild.
There's 5 days left, right? Is it 5 days or 4 days? We're 5 days out.
It's tomorrow. It's 4 days.
Okay. So we're almost.
That's a lot. It's coming on fast, y'all. And I really mean this for everybody watching. And first off, let me say this, and I know Maya shares this. We are so grateful for you guys tuning into us every week. We are really honored that you give us your time, your attention, your focus, because there are a lot of other things out there you could be watching. We try to make it a little less difficult to think about how you can become empowered in a campaign than some people might. We want you to be out there with the happy warrior spirit and going fighting. And I see a lot of people in the chat saying they've already voted. That's amazing. We voted last week. It was amazing. And look, this election, it's not as close as the Republicans want you to think, but it's still too close for me. And we still have a lot of work to do between now and Tuesday night around this time. And by the way, if you go to vote on Tuesday, please, I pray for you to vote earlier. But if you go to vote on Tuesday, do not get out of line. If you have to duck into the bushes and pee in the bushes, stay in line. They cannot turn you away once you're in line. They cannot. If you get intimidated at the polls, turn your camera on your phone. Just start running video right then. That pushes about 90% of these assholes out of your face. So
so know your rights. And I guess bring your own water and food and snacks if you're in Georgia.
Yeah.
That's
I'm really tempted to go up. If we weren't going to be at another location on election day, I'd be tempted to go to Georgia and get arrested for giving people bottled water. It's the most douchey law I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And apparently there's a thing like pizza to the polls. And so they clearly put like, we can send pizza if you're stuck in line, but we can't send pizza to Georgia. And I'm like, that's so sad. I want a pizza poll party. Like that just sounds like a ton of fun. I have a confession to make, Rick.
Tell me.
I didn't vote until today.
Hey, you still voted though.
But let me tell you why. Because I got emotional every single time I went to go fill out her bubble. Like I got emotional. I got teary eyed. Like I was like, oh my God, this is the first time. Like, and it really meant something to me just to be able to really be in that moment. And I didn't want it to let it go. Like I wanted to be in that moment. And so now it's done and I'm excited and I'm doing my part of getting out the vote as well.
Good.
I was starting to feel like a hypocrite. I was like telling everybody vote early and I'm like staring at my ballot. Like,
well, look, look, we are seeing early turnout numbers, folks, are looking very good. They're looking very strong. A lot of Democrats, a lot of women voters coming out early. These are pieces of good news. This is not going to be easy, though. I need folks to remember they're going to surge their people on election day. We must stay focused and get people out to vote. If you have not gone out to vote yet, once again, I will continue to scream about this until you're sick of me. It is time. Tomorrow's the day. If you have an excuse, I don't want to hear it. If you have a reason, maybe, but it better be that you're going to die if you don't show up to vote, because this one is for all the marbles, all of them.
I tend to agree. And one of the excuses that I hear from people is like, oh, well, either my vote doesn't matter or I don't have time. And this is what I say. I'm like, if you don't have time to vote, have you ever thought about maybe the reason you don't have time is because you're living in a system that is not beneficial to your well-being? And the only way to change that system is to actually
change the system.
So make time.
Exactly.
Make time.
Well, I'm sorry, Maya. I have to take a brief point of personal privilege. A headline just flashed up on my notifications, and it says Tucker Carlson claims he was attacked by a demon. Blood in the bed, claw marks.
Wait, what?
Look, Tucker, if you wanted to tell us you slept with Laura Loomer, there were other ways.
That's
what the fuck?
Is this the actual headline? Did this actually just happen?
That headline just popped in my notifications, and I was like, "Hello."
I actually now I'm like trying to not.
Right now you're like trying to resist looking at it.
I was like, I need to know what's happening. Everybody, stay with us, or tell us what's happening in the chat, because we kind of need to know.
Oh my Lord.
But we understand what's at stake. And so much has happened since we last were with each other, Rick.
Yep.
Madison Square Garden happened, which I hate that now when I think of Madison Square Garden, I'm now thinking about that because it's one of the iconic places in New York City. Like when I'm in New York, I'm like, here I am, I'm in like Manhattan. And now it's got the stench of, though I heard Cyndi Lauper, I think, perform there and did some sort of healing.
Sage burning.
Yes, but like not enough sage in the world. Like seriously, like you would need sage, you'd need crystals, you'd need chanting, like prayers to cleanse out that negative energy. But we got to talk about it because you and I haven't talked about it yet. I had wanted to travel to New York actually to kind of take a peep at what was going on, but now I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because the rhetoric was so toxic and so that it felt dangerous.
My friend, I am super glad that you didn't. That would not have been a good outcome. That would have made me very nervous. I mean, look, we had some friends that were in the room that were around there, but nobody was feeling very nobody who wasn't one of the MAGA horde was feeling very safe that night. And that is kind of disturbing.
I would have gone in as like, I would have straightened my hair, put a wig on, and gone in as Candace Owens. Like that was
sure. You could have pulled it off. You could have rocked that shit.
I could have been Candace. And no one's seen my side by side of me and Omarosa, but I have a great Omarosa that I do. So, multi-talented, y'all. I'm a multi-hyphenate when I have a lot of time on my hands. But we do need to talk about the rally. We have many clips, but let's roll a first one.
Let's roll the key clip.
Yeah.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Like that's,
you know, look, I mean, if you're going to step on your dick, to use a phrase we use down south, if you're going to step on your dick, don't do it with cleats on. That guy is a apparently popular right-wing comedian. I use that phrase popular in air quotes.
And comedian as well.
And comedian as well, truth. But apparently he had, previewed those lines for people. Joe Rogan said today that he had run the lines by him, and Joe said, you can't say that, you're going to get canceled. And yet the idea of MAGA this is what always strikes me. They're always like, oh, toughen up, snowflake, you can't take a joke. And yet when they get hammered on something like this, rightly, for calling Puerto Rico an island of garbage, they don't know how to handle it. They have tried for 4 days now to unfuck this situation, and it has gotten worse every single day. They can't unfuck it because they are out of control right now. I don't think there's anybody running the campaign. If there had been, someone would have said, is this the best idea? Is this going to result in some sort of blowback? Are we going to really piss off a very important large population of Americans? And sure enough, they did.
They absolutely did. So many people, which is not only did they caused defection from like somebody that had actually endorsed Donald Trump. Pulled his endorsement over it. Like the fact that they somehow thought, like, I wonder if they thought it would be said quietly and nobody would watch. Like, was nobody going to watch the rally? Well, also, I was wondering, and this is a real thought I had because I keep seeing these comments on Twitter. Did they not realize that Puerto Ricans live in the United States or citizens can vote? Like, wait.
Did they not realize there are millions of Puerto Ricans in this country? Millions. And in fact, large numbers of them live in Pennsylvania. Did they miss that? And large numbers live in North Carolina. Did they miss that? I mean, the fact of the matter is these people, as always, their idea of transgression is that we're going to say things that are going to piss off the libs. And normally the system works for them, Maya, because they say something dumb or cruel or heartless or racist or asinine. And then when people go, hey, you shouldn't have said that racist, dumb, asinine thing, they then run to Fox or Sean Hannity or somebody go, they're trying to cancel me. They're trying to cancel me. And every time they do this, it tends to work for them. They raise money online and blah, blah, blah. Well, this time they made a giant mistake. They made a mistake of such a high order that when, people nobody knows like J-Lo and Bad Bunny and this entire constellation of Puerto Rican entertainers and musicians and everyone else comes out, it totally shocked them. They're still trying to play defense on it. Days later, Trump has not been able to change the subject. But
weirdly, and so also too, like, here's the thing, like when you fuck with people who are sick of being fucked with, like that's the thing, like people have a limit. And so I think what the Trump campaign fails to realize is that the entirety of America, minus their base, has had it. We're up to here. Women are up to here. Moms are up to here. Independents and moderates who want to get back to talking policy are up to here.
Up to here. Look, there's a reason. I mean, there's a reason that of the 60 million Americans who voted as of the end of the day today, 54% of them are women. I promise you, this is not some giant hidden wave of MAGA women coming out to vote because they think Donald Trump's doing such a great job. These are pissed off American women. They are Democrats, they're independents, they're Republicans. And you're absolutely right. Right here is where they're at. Their shit filter is full. They're done.
Done. I do like the ad that we put out with Anthony Ramos.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. Movie. Yeah. Can we roll that?
You don't fuck with Puerto Rico. We will decide this election. We will say no to the politics and hate and division. We will say no to white supremacists in our streets and ravaging our capital. We will say no to racial insults, no to the MAGA agenda, no to politicians counting on our vote but laughing at us behind our backs. And we will vote for change, for inclusion, for equal rights, for freedom. We will vote for Puerto Rico and for America. And we will take the garbage out where it belongs, to the trash. Because when you mess with Puerto Rico, you mess with all of us.
So fire. And he's got such a great voice.
He does have a great voice. And one shout out to our sound designer on that ad, who is Puerto Rican. He built out that soundtrack with the sounds of birds and frogs that were only found in Puerto Rico, and the music track is from Puerto Rican musicians. So that ad is wired tight for this audience. And we've gotten such amazing feedback. I had a Puerto Rican political figure, a Republican Puerto Rican political figure, call me today, who said, I can't tell you that I'm going to vote for her, but you know, he really has, like, my people are going to kill me if they would kill me if they thought I did. A Republican Puerto Rican official, not a happy guy. He was very upset. I haven't talked to this guy for like 6 years, but suddenly, you know, it's breaking through in the Puerto Rican community, even in Florida, which is not a top tier contested state this year. But these folks have, they made this mistake, Maya, of doing this at the last week of the campaign. And they said in advance, this is Trump's closing argument. Okay, your closing argument is that you're going to have a comedian go out there and make jokes about Puerto Ricans that went over like a hot fart in a closed car. Jokes about Jews being stingy with their money. Jokes about women. Jokes about carving watermelons with black guys.
I was like, don't forget about watermelons.
That was so subtle. I never would pick up on that one. My goodness, you know, all this bullshit that they laid out there, that was their closing argument. That was what people who finally said, man, I better watch this thing tonight. It's Trump's big final speech. And then we saw an actual closing argument on Tuesday night, a real one, one with heart. And
we'll watch it. Let's watch it.
Let's watch it.
And those who came before us, the patriots at Normandy and Selma, Seneca Falls and Stonewall, on farmlands and factory floors, they did not struggle, sacrifice, and lay down their lives only to see us cede our fundamental freedoms. They didn't do that only to see us submit to the will of another petty tyrant. These United States of America, we are not a vessel for the schemes of wannabe dictators. The United States of America is the greatest idea humanity ever devised. And in 7 days, we have the power, each of you has the power to turn the page and start writing the next chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. I thank you all. God bless you, and may God bless.
So I love that she turns it over to the will of the people. She says, yes, you have the opportunity to turn the page. That is so important to me because it's this idea of personal responsibility and accountability that we all take as being American citizens to ensure that we create the kind of world that we want to leave to our children. And so it's a energy that we do not at all see coming from Republicans anymore, who used to be the party of accountability and responsibility. And so when you see these contrasting messages back and forth going into the final week of the campaign, to me, it becomes very obvious. And I'm like ready to I want to make so much content that goes directly to the MAGA side of the internet and just be like, what are you doing? Like what part is going with a candidate who is blaming everyone else for your problems, as opposed to just saying, how can I own up to what I need to do to improve my life?
One of the things I find fascinating about this moment we're in is, I mean, Trump gave us like a month of content. Unfortunately, when he did it, we only had 7 days left. But this idea, or 8, whatever it was, this idea though that he has no ability to address anything with Americans that matters, and that it's all this chaos and hate and insanity all the time. I think that is something that is now penetrating. It has now reached the point where people can't look away from it. They can't say, oh, that's just Trump being Trump. That's just Trump being weird. We know that's just the show. They can't really say that anymore. They know that that's no longer a viable option for them to take in a publicly facing way. They know what it is. This is what Trump is. This is what he's promising people. This is the future of the Republican Party under Trump. And look, the fact that he's collapsed so badly all week this week, the fact that he's had such a bad week in the closing days of this campaign, it's really showing. The stress is really showing. This guy is not doing well. He's not healthy. He's losing his train of thought every 5 seconds. He's staggering around. I mean, yesterday, trying to get on top of this garbage truck, which was their genius idea to reset the conversation in the campaign, because after the ellipse speech, Joe Biden made a comment, and he was making a longer comment, but the way they took it was, oh, he called us all garbage. Magas did that. And so Trump decides he's going to do this amazing riff on garbage, but he really screwed up. He really, really, really screwed it up, because not only did his visual stunt yesterday of putting a Trump sign on a garbage truck and driving it around on an airport tarmac, again, go over like a whore in church. It was a disaster from start to finish. He's lost control of the narrative. And this is the first time ever since 2015 where he has had no ability to grab the narrative back.
Yeah, I'm scrambling for it. Let's watch it.
And it's not her. It's the people that surround her. They're scum. They're scum. And they want to take down our country. They are absolute garbage.
A total piece of garbage.
Garbage.
Garbage. Garbage. You're talking about garbage. 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 Talking about garbage.
I'd love to be nice, but I'm dealing against real garbage.
Garbage. Garbage. Garbage.
Garbage.
Can I use the word garbage?
Garbage.
Garbage. You're scum. She's garbage.
This scum. This garbage.
Pile of garbage.
First time I've ever said garbage.
A garbage can.
We're like a garbage can. Garbage can. Garbage can for the rest of the world. We're a garbage can. How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. For Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace.
So the level of gaslighting, like it was like he got so excited that he could try to like take back the narrative with this, but it's such a level of gaslighting. And the fact that he was so excited that he forgot all of the many times that he said garbage about and called people garbage, allowing everybody to make all of these amazing ads where he's getting called out over and over and over and over and over again for it. Like, that's the problem with a narcissist, is they trip themselves up sometimes because they can't remember which bad thing they said, and the internet always remembers. And so I'm glad that that's what we are here for. One thing, I did they order the vest that he wore, like, because it was very much also in the YMCA vein. So
yeah, I don't know if that came from Amazon or if there was some sort of visit to a uniform supply store, but it was extra husky, and but the problem was the orange didn't match the rest of the orange. And folks, we joke about Trump being orange all the time as Americans, but Maya, he's become the color of like old furniture polish. This is like a color from a 70s kitchen, burnt umber.
It's very Oompa Loompa of him. And I'm like, where does, first of all, you never do orange on orange. And so going into Halloween, it was always going to be iffy for him. but like it's too much orange. Too much orange. I'm done.
It's so orange. And look, I am a 60-year-old dude, and I'm not like an expert on makeup, but I've been on TV enough times to know that they blend. They blend. It gets blended. And Stitch looks like he's got like an orange oval. It's like, as somebody said today, it's like he Mrs. Doubtfire at a pumpkin pie.
And yeah, we can't have that back in the oval. And here's the thing. So you mentioned at the top of the show, Rick, about women voting in their best interests, despite what their husbands might want them to vote as. And so Jesse Waters went on a show, which I forgot Jesse Waters was the guy who got his current wife by slicing her tires, and so that she would need a ride home.
Yeah, that doesn't scan as completely fucking creepy or anything.
Like, that's psycho, but they're married now and have kids. I'm wild. But he had a comment on his show today that
drugs are strong.
Yeah, that a woman is who votes for Kamala Harris without telling her husband that's tantamount to cheating. We have the clip. I think we have the clip.
And if I found out Emma was going into the voting booth and pulling the lever for Harris, that's the same thing as having an affair. That to me,
oh my God! Let him finish. Go, Jesse. It's our day.
That violates the sanctity of our marriage.
On. Yes.
What else is she keeping from me?
Exactly.
What else has she been lying about?
Why would she lie to you? Have you threatened her? Why would she lie to you?
Oh, they want me to tease.
Why would she do that and then vote Harris? Why would she say she was voting Trump
not the problem,
and then voting Harris? And I caught her. So and then she said, I lied to you for the last 4 years.
Admit you intimidate
It's over, Emma. That would be D-Day.
So that is voter intimidation, by the way.
And psychotic and fucking psychotic.
Yeah, but there's the sinister element of it that these MAGA men think they own their wives' votes, that they own their behavior, whether it be in the voting booth or outside of the voting booth.
A lot of these guys are like, a biblical marriage says the woman must tell her husband everything and obey him and all. Really? Hello, is it not the year of our Lord 2024 in the United States of America?
Well, that's why they want to back to
freaking Gilead people.
I mean, that's I've been reading too much about that kind of stuff lately for my comfort. So I'm all like, I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to focus on positive now.
Let's be happy. So we do have a spot that we premiered this Monday in the stack here that addressed this very directly. This is rotating in Pennsylvania and some other and Michigan, Wisconsin in our ad traffic right now, and I've gotten both incredible praise and some really cuckoo hate mail over this one.
Still voting for him? Hell yeah. What about your wife?
She doesn't like him, but she's voting for him.
Same with mine.
Exactly. And we know it's going to have an impact because there are women. I saw a story about a woman who voted for the first time because her husband had passed and she was finally allowed to vote because he wouldn't let her vote. So this is very much the kind of moment that we think is going to be out there this year.
We think there are a lot of women who their tolerance for Trump faded a long time ago. As I jokingly said at one point, in 2018, women got a restraining order on Trump. In 2020, they filed charges against him and divorced him. Now it's a matter of, are they going to be able to put up with a lot of the peer pressure that happens, especially in the Republican Party? And that ad was one that was built to give them a way to know that it is a secret. It's their life. It's their vote. They get to keep it. It's not anybody else's. Even if you're married, it's not anybody else's business or property or right. And these guys in the Republican side, these MAGAs that are saying, "Oh, a woman must her biblical duty to her husband." Let me tell you something. First off, these guys don't live a biblical life anyway. But the thought of anyone accepting that in this day and age, when Donald Trump is up there saying, "I'm going to do things to the women whether they like it or not," which is clearly something he's said before. Ugh.
No, absolutely. And to talk about voter intimidation, I don't know if anybody saw the story about the machete, the teens, MAGA teens, a group of them with a machete in Florida at a polling site. And I actually think it's important. We're going to end on an up note. Don't worry, y'all. I just want you to know
there will be an up note.
But before we end on the up note, I actually want to roll the 911 call of the people at the polling place.
Yeah.
Have it?
There's a truck full of boys at the library pulling machetes out of their trucks. Okay. Kids or adults? They're adult. They're teenage boys, but they're pulling machetes out and coming over by us. Okay.
This is the call for help after police say 18-year-old Caleb Williams confronted a group of people holding Harris wall signs.
So, if you really truly think that your party is winning, do you need to show up at polling stations and locations with a machete?
Call me crazy, but I'm going to put that as a no. That is in Florida what we refer to as a floppy-haired boy. I can tell you, as George Hahn says, they've got the official alpaca broccoli haircut.
Oh my God. Well, I think it perms now. Like that's what it's come back around. It's like the 70s, like Partridge Family. Like it's like the perms back.
Exactly. And for all of that idea that Trump gives people permission to be their worst selves, that's exactly what you just saw.
Yep.
Those kids think, "Oh, well, Trump gets away with everything. I can do anything I want."
Mm-hmm.
Trump gets to do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants, be wherever he wants. I'm going to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that idea in the hands of an 18-year-old or a group of 18-year-olds, because as we all know, there's no one with better judgment, self-control, and self-regulation than an 18-year-old teenage MAGA boys. They're just the paragon of stoic virtue. But all of that, it really speaks to the fact that this is a guy at the top of his ticket who wants people engaged in intimidation, in violence, in election denial, in trying to push back on anyone who opposes him. And folks, we are optimistic here at the Lincoln Project. We think we're going to win. Election night's going to be a long night. It's going to be close, but we think we're going to win. There is a scenario where she does really, really well. There's a scenario where he barely wins, and there's a scenario where she barely wins. I'm hoping for the big win. But no matter what happens that night, Trump is going to say that he won. We're going to have 76 long days. And that's where it's going to get sporty. And what you're seeing in these things, like burning the ballot boxes by Republicans out west, and these kids with the machetes, this is the very tip of the iceberg. We're going to see a lot more of this in the coming days. You need to prepare yourselves for it. But again, that's not an up note, and I apologize.
I was like, Rick, we said we'd end on an up note. No, but here's the thing. We've been here before. We've been in a situation where there is the threat of political violence. We've seen Stop the Steal. The law enforcement is far more prepared this time around than they were before. And what's great is that everybody who is advocating for getting out there and voting early and ensuring that we're doing this in the spirit of bringing the country together, I think that will eventually overcome all of this hate. And so this is more, to me, I want to say to people, it's a waiting game. It's going to be a waiting game after the election. And so we're just going to have to be patient.
Yep.
And not allow ourselves to go into a frenzy over, and I'm saying this to myself as well. So this is for everybody.
And listen, everybody, I want to promise you something. No matter what happens on Tuesday, we are going to be in this fight until the very last. Yeah. When she puts her hand on that Bible and swears that oath, that's when we can take a break. Mm-hmm. MAGA's going to be out there for a while. They're going to be causing trouble for a while, but you have our word on it. We are a fighting organization. That's what we do. That's what we do 24/7 is fight Trump and Trumpism. It's been the mission since the beginning. It's the mission right now. You have our word. We will never stop pushing back on these people. We will not let them destroy this country. And, you know, believe me, guys, I'm 61, almost 60. I'm almost 61 years old. I would love to go write more books and watch my grandchild and travel with my beautiful partner and relax. I desperately want that, but we're not going to quit until we're done. And being done means that the danger to this country is off the stage. So with that, that's not a super up note, but I got to tell you, I do want to show one picture before we go, guys. Our communications director, Greg Menchek, was at the rally the other night. You've probably seen this picture now because 1 million people have stolen it. That is a crowd in a venue that Donald Trump could never pull off. There are more of us than there are of them. There are more good Americans who are looking for hope, looking for opportunity, looking for a patriotic president, and a president who gives a shit about the American people and gives and puts the country not over party, but over themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's what she's promising. That's what she's going to deliver. And that's why we're going to work hard all the way through Tuesday. Get out and vote, folks. Don't make excuses. I will be at your house if you don't vote.
I was like, we're looking it up right now. So the next time we see you will be...
we might take a break next Thursday. We'll see, folks. It's been a long year.
Yeah.
But we'll see you guys very soon. We'll see you guys very, very soon.
Past Tuesday. No plans past Tuesday.
I'm not going to use foul language. Get your fat ass out of the couch. I want to be a whale psychiatrist. I want a window in my apartment. I would like to have their children have a conflict of interest. You know, the cows are going to disappear.
Weave is getting wide. We're getting wide with this weave.
You know, I'm not a gay guy, but...
Right. They got Beyonce, and Beyonce, you know, Beyonce. Mala is at a dance party with Beyonce. They got Beyonce. I don't think anybody has ever seen anything like what happened the other night at Madison Square Garden, an absolute love fest.
Rock, paper, scissors. You know the Palestinians are gonna throw rock every time. But you also know the Jews have a hard time throwing that paper.
So he made fun of Puerto Ricans, black people, Jews, and Arabs. Pretty equal opportunity offender.
It's like a fake economy.
As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president.
Her and her pimp handlers. It sounds like a script from Hollywood with a really, really bad actress.
You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl.
There's no such thing as toxic masculinity.
So Nancy Pelosi, suck on that.
Pick a really bad vice president. That way they never get rid of you.
And they'll say this.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist. Now go do it! America is for Americans and Americans only.
That was the opposite of Nazism. In 1939, the Nazis used Madison Square Garden. Never use the word Nazi. Never use that word with Nazis. I'm the opposite of a Nazi.